Hello, welcome to another evening of Dungeons and Dad jokes. What were we?
Waving
Always
high.
something. If this is your first time joining us, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and then you can join in the live chat. And some of our players keep an eye on that. So feel free to chat. Uh, our website is slowly changing. We are shifting. So check out the website. Check out some changes that are happening there, um, and just explore because it'll be a lot of fun. If you're new with us, our town crier of all of the sessions that we have done so far, they have little scenarios or little synopsis summaries in there under the town crier. You just have to dig around and find it that you can read to catch up on the story if you'd like. Um, in our website as well, you want to check out the upcoming events. The last weekend of May, May 29th through June 1st, I believe, we are going to be in Chicago for the Chicago Steampunk Expo. That information is on our upcoming events page on our website, so check that out. And you can get a link to Chicago's, especially if you're in the area, or if you want to come out to the area, there's a link to that website there where you can purchase tickets and things like that.
That's the
So check
10th
that out.
windiest city in the U.S.
The 10th windiest city. What's the windiest
Yeah,
city?
it's a town in a city in Kansas.
Oh,
Of course, you
is
know
it
why Kansas
Windy
is so
City?
windy?
Because it's flat?
No,
Oh,
because it's between Oklahoma, or it's near Oklahoma and Texas, and Oklahoma sucks and Texas blows. But
oh my goodness. All right. So if you're in the Chicago area, come say hi to us. Rhonda and I will be running some games. We'll be at a table there. Come say hi, um, and come visit us.
I wish I could.
Yeah, well, you just did a big trip, so
Yeah, I'm
wait a
getting
few
ready to
more
do
years.
another one in September.
Oh my goodness. I think that's it. Is there any other announcements I'm missing? Is there anything else coming up between now and then for you, Rhonda?
Now and Chicago? No.
Okay.
Well, no.
Okay.
Not actually, but
Uh,
kind
well,
of. But it's personal. It's not
well, I'm
business.
game related.
It's not game related.
All right. Well, then let's go ahead and get started. Tonight's episode is episode 106, and it's entitled Recall. All right. What happened last week? We're gonna jump into what happened last week. You guys went to the obelisk of the water god. Fix allowed himself to be guided by Gond again to lock in a planar shift for the city of Shaji. Checking the orrery, you realize that the location is the last thing to lock in. And Fix, you believe that the rod could be the key to anchoring Saji. You do believe that going to Saji's location is the place that you will have to do that. So you guys teleported to Filolio, where you decided to head towards Saji, but at about half day's journey, you run across an unnatural creature. Learning that through Cadeth's recall of his history studies, learned that a lich may be in the area, as this unnatural creature is known as a necrostellan, which is a tree that is allowed its roots to go to a noble who has wanted to extend their life and made a deal with a lich. Um, and so the lich creates a necrostellan. But you decide, because of this knowledge, to go back to Filolio to rest, just in case. And so you went back to Filolio to rest. There, you dropped into the hole that you were at before, where Kadeth and maybe a couple of the others of you went up to the sky station because there was the portal there. And looking down upon the steadfast, you could see the majority of the shield up. You could also see where Saji would fill in the rest of the shield. Um, After a good rest, you guys left for Saji and found it pretty uneventful on your way there. Did not run across any more necrostellans and made it to Saji. Um, On the way to making it to Saji, Fix continued to forge at nighttime to play around with the adamantine and obtanium mixture, and Evangeline found out that her nanites could make baby nanites, littler nanites. And oh, the ideas that have come since then. On the third day, you reached a large barren area that you believe once had the city of Saji sitting upon it, and you head toward the center where there was a stone slab or carved stone, what kind of looked like floor almost, in the center. As you approached, a messenger landed, causing a ripple on the earth, knocking Kadeth over. You realize that this messenger was immune to a lot of different types of damage, and was wearing a amulet of the holy symbol of Belsharoon. Eventually, out of frustration, Kadeth did manage to slay her, and afterwards took the sword and communed with the Raven Queen to consecrate the sword. And she took the sword and combined it with her own that Kadeth was already wielding, giving him a very powerful sword. That's where we stopped. You are at the center where the slab is. You have done nothing yet any further. Chuck, is your okay? I was seeing flashing and stuff, and I was like, are you having trouble? But you are at the slab. You do see a hole that's about the size of the rod of Gond that you have, and you have watched Kadeth literally absorb the sword, and the plate mail. I think it was plate mail. Is that what I told you that she had? Is also sitting there. What would you like
Just
to
to-
do?
Get it out of the way. I'll go over and use identify on the plate mail.
All right. The plate mail is magical, as I'm sure you guessed. It is a +3 plate mail. It has a oh crummers. There it is. It has the plate mail has resistance against fire. Nope. Immunity against fire and lightning. It also contains the spell that can be used. It's false life. I don't have a name for the plate mail. Sorry. I figured most of you would probably avoid it anyway, because I don't know. God might get a little mad if you take off his armor.
Oh, I wasn't going to.
And I don't know how many of you other ones would like to wear plate mail.
The only
Would
other
be
one that might
irrelevant.
Dath.
I am currently wearing plate mail, I think.
Oh, are you?
No, well, half plate.
Oh, you're wearing half plate.
Which is like saucer mail.
Saucer mail.
The difference is heavy versus medium, so, and I'm not proficient with heavy, so
Oh,
Ah,
It ain't heavy. It's a
I could wear
bother.
I could wear half of it.
half of it.
well,
He can
There's
wear
a lot of-
saucer mail.
Saucer.
Have we had a long rest recently?
nope.
Not since the fight.
Yeah,
No.
but it's more like
That's what I didn't
charger.
think so.
It's more like
Recently, yes,
charger
but not
armor as
since-
opposed to saucer.
Charger
'cause,
armor.
You know, I'm a little larger.
What did you charge it?
Sorry. He once he tells everyone what about the plate mail, he will then walk over to the platform and check it out before inserting the rod.
All right. You're gonna check this out. Looking at these stones, you are. Roll me your investigation.
Investigation. Oh wait, I think that might help me.
I'm gonna do something I always forget to do. I'm gonna give him guidance.
And I will assist him.
All right.
So add a D4.
D4. All right.
And
Yeah.
add advantage.
Add advantage. Add advantage plus D4.
Advantage and D4. I will take it.
I always forget to do that.
It's such a good spell too.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I was just finishing something up with the character. And I need a dice and a D4.
Oh, dice. That would be helpful, huh? Here's my dice. My desk is an absolute wreck. Look at that.
Can I use my
See,
passive
I would.
instead?
I've still rolled a.
That's with advantage plus a D4.
Wait, no, I haven't rolled it yet.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
If you roll lower than your passive, sure, I'll let you use your passive.
Hey, I near maxed that out on because of the advantage. The first one was meh. That is 24.
Nice. Okay.
You almost made it all the way to my passive.
Almost.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. As you walk over there while everybody else is kind of fooling around, checking out things and whatnot, you walk over there. You do definitely see the hole, and around the hole is definitely arcane symbols that look very similar from your recollection to the orrery of Saji around the hole. So it like is showing that time. It's not moving, but the symbols are there. You also notice on the stone that there is also arcane symbols around the edge of the stone slab.
All right. I will activate my comprehend languages.
Okay.
See what it if it says something, if they're particular meaning to them, anything like that.
As you kind of look at them after your comprehend languages, you basically begin to recognize that this says along the lines of those those upon the stone or the feet upon the stone are safe. Basically, I don't have a good riddle to come up with.
I think we should all stand on this stone before we do this.
Okay.
I will stand upon the solid rock.
Upon the solid rock. All right, you all gather upon the stone. What do you do with the plate armor?
I ignore it.
You just leave it out there? I mean, that's fine. I don't care if you leave it out there. I was just curious if you picked it up or not.
If nobody else is picking it up, I'll pick it up with intent to break it down later.
Okay. All right, you get onto the stone. Everybody's on the stone. There's room enough for all of you and Buckley, comfortably. I mean, you can't like throw a party necessarily, but you're not like standing on each other's toes.
Right. Okay. Once everyone is on, I will insert the rod into the stone and
All right.
follow my instincts.
All right. You follow your instincts. You put the rod in, and it kind of gives that resonance, and you turn it just like you do with the orreries. You turn it. And I need everyone to give me a. Let's do a Constitution saving throw. Constitution makes more sense
I can do that for you.
because it's kind of almost fighting nausea kind of
I
thing.
guess I should get dice out for this.
Is this poison or disease?
Generally, not really. This is just
Oh.
orientation.
Okay. I get advantage on poison and disease.
No, this is not a sickness.
17.
All right. You're going to get down with the sickness.
12.
26.
26?
22.
22. All right. all of you kind of feel a blast of heat and then a blast of cold, and you suddenly feel like you're standing in a mirage. Everything is kind of wavering a little bit as slowly a room begins to form around you. After a little bit of time,
Recognize the room?
Kadeth, you feel a little nauseous, like the world is spinning, but you manage to hold your lunch. And after about a minute, I mean, it takes a little while, you suddenly realize you are standing in kind of looks like a basement.
Look around for a door.
All right, as you look around, you do notice one area of the wall. It's not a full-on door, but there is one area of the wall that definitely has an outline for a door, although it does still look like stone. Almost like a poorly hidden secret door.
Is
Almost.
what's happening around us look like it's solidifying?
Yeah. And at this point, after about a minute, it looks solid. It stops wavering,
Okay.
and it looks solid.
I was gonna say, because we might want to wait for it to be solid before we try to start
Yeah,
going
just go.
through.
Just go. It's fine. What could go wrong?
Walk out to this door and pull out to the astral plane.
Oh my goodness. All right. But yeah, it kind of looks like a poorly hidden, almost secret door, or maybe the backside of a secret door or something.
I have done too much thinking already today.
I'll look to Forsyth. Care to check it for any pointy poison things?
Sure, I can do that.
All right, go ahead and check it for traps.
Okay.
Investigation, I believe.
That was only a 9.
9. You see no trap.
You don't really
I don't see any.
You don't really see any traps. Kind of, nah. Although it does look like the backside of a secret door.
Okay, well, I will try to pick the lock.
Okay. You fool around with it a little bit, and you do find in one area there's a panel kind of right next to the door. It's not really a panel; it's a loose rock. You can kind of pull it just a little bit, and you see basically a lever behind it. It's like a false rock, you know. You see a
Yeah.
lever.
Okay, well, with sleight of hand, let's see. I rolled a 3, so that's a 20.
Oh yeah, you know that lever. You can pull that lever, and that door will open.
Yeah. I'll pull the lever because I'm an idiot.
All right, you pull the lever. The door begins to lower. And as it kind of gets about halfway, you realize that you're staring at a set of stairs.
Hey, guys,
the
who wants to go
stairs.
down the creepy stairs first?
It's
Are
upward,
they going
but
up?
Oh,
Yeah.
upward. Up the
you can go
creepy.
up the creepy stairs.
I'll start up the stairs.
All right, you guys start up the stairs. You go up a set of stairs, probably a full flight, and oh no, it's probably a good 2 flights. Up a little bit, turn up some more, and you hit the backside of what looks like maybe the backside of a shelf. It's wood.
I see a latch or anything.
Looking around, you all along the wall. There's like another lever. It's not hidden.
Push it, or pull it, or twist it, or bonk it, or,
You bop
or
it.
bop it. Yes.
You pull the lever, and the bookcase kind of pushes outward and slides to the side. And as it begins to slide to the side, light starts to spill in, and you recognize this as the library of Shaji.
We are back in the library.
But my head isn't pounding with a out of time migraine, is it?
It is not.
Well, we know the city, at least this part of it, so we're gonna. Well, Fix is gonna head up and try to go find somebody.
All right.
One of the elders or people in charge.
All right. As you guys head out of the library or head out of the secret tunnel.
And I'll shut the door, the bookshelf.
All right, you shut the bookshelf. As you kind of head toward the entrance to the library, you see two people walking into the library. One of which you recognize. Don't know if you remember him. He is Kashano. He is a human. You met him in the council at Shaji. He is the orator. He is the one in charge of the orrery. He is walking in. Beside him is another gentleman who seems to be has like a pack on his shoulder, maybe has some tools in it or whatever. He seems to be coming to assist Kashano or aid him in some manner. Does not look super like a person of authority. He looks like he's there to do grunt work almost. And you also see Manoverin.
Well, there's someone we recognize.
Was he the planewalker?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll smile and nod. Welcome back.
I was going to say the same to you, but I guess technically we shifted, didn't we?
This time.
Yeah.
This time.
Sorry about
That-
the lack of warning for that.
Well, you know, we knew it was coming at some point. Hence why we are now headed toward the orrery to ensure that it gets aligned properly, being in the ninth age now. I've made a couple of stops along the ninth age, and the people are prepared, or as prepared as they can be.
Yeah, and it has changed even from when you've been here, most likely.
Most
There's
likely.
there's been a few things that have happened.
Few happenings.
Few
We
scars.
Yeah, 2 new scars in
Great.
the world.
well,
Some powers that are no longer in power, and some that are newly in power.
very well. We should call council, although I believe they're already working on getting there. Kashano's first duty is, of course, to the orrery. As he starts to say that, you realize that he's already walked past you guys with with the other guy. He's on mine. He's already gone. He's like, he'll be back with the council
Kind of
once
reminds me
he
of somebody.
gets, you know, those mechanical-minded people.
Mechaniques.
The mechaniques. Yeah. Well, once he gets the orrery in alignment, he will join council, of course. Please come. The city is alive and well, and everybody's a little disoriented right now, but they'll pick up quickly. You must share. How did you manage to shift an entire city?
Skill.
Yeah.
Skill.
And the power of Gond.
Well,
With a little help from a few others.
Well,
Plain
that-
dumb luck.
plain dumb luck. Well, I believe that too. Oh, well, it would make sense that Gond would want the city returned.
Sorry, was talking to me. I missed that part. I apologize.
Nope, you're good. Manover said it makes sense that Gond would want the city returned. And he also believes the sheer dumb luck.
Definitely sheer dumb luck. But Gond certainly wanted his masterpiece returned.
Indeed. He will say, "Come. I will take you to council. I'm sure that the Chancellor Belisnar would really like to hear of your findings on how you got the city returned. Since we've been awakened, we have been working on trying to
I
figure
guess
out how to
you
take
guys
a
are
whole
woke,
city.
That's okay too.
That's
What you want to
we're
be.
woke.
Well,
Yeah.
while I don't mean to sound distrustful, I'm more than happy to give you some information, but some of it will be safer kept closer to the vest.
Well, I guess we will be no more in the dark about how we returned as to how we left to begin with. Not sure about that either.
I'm guessing sabotage.
I mean, that would make the most sense. We feared it might have been the orrery, but since you fixed it and we've all come back, it's been fine. It's done nothing weird since then, so it wasn't sabotaged by our own orrery. Or our own orrery wasn't sabotaged, I'll put it that way.
It was a combination of adjusting your time, place, and plane all at the same time. That
Interesting.
much I can tell you.
It was a larger, grander scheme.
Yes, my question is who had the knowledge to pull something off like that then? They had to have intimate knowledge of the orrery.
A handful of people, I'm sure. Kashano, of course, would have pretty intimate knowledge of many of the orreries. He assisted in their creation, or at least in the creation of their connection. Some orreries already existed, such as the one in Dagon, that already existed. We based a lot of orreries off of the one in Dagon.
Who created the one in Dagon?
To be fair, probably Kuros, and I think Shay Marsk had a hand in it. There's probably a couple of others. It was a team of mages and thinkers.
Who designed them?
Kuros designed a lot of them. I'm assuming, well, he at least did the engineering for a lot of them based off of Dagon. I'm not sure if he designed Dagon himself or not, to be fair. Kuros is a mystery. I don't know much about Kuros.
Curious is the one that just walked past us, right?
No, Kuros is the one you left in Rakar. Actually, it was Leoros now, but it was Kuros then.
Oh. Interesting. Might have to have a conversation. See if he knows who would have had the knowledge to do this.
He gives you a curious look. It's
Are
like,
we still in the library?
you can be walking. You can walk and talk.
I want to still be in the library.
Okay, we can still be in the library. He has said, let's go to the council. Let's go to the council. But, we're still standing in the
sorry,
library having a
We
conversation.
would have. We would have. God.
Evangeline says she wants to be in the library. So you're still in the library.
I specifically want to be in the library because I want to see if there's anything in the library of Saji about the ancestors.
Okay. You're going to start digging in the library. Evangeline says, I'll catch up to you at council later. I know where it's at. I'm going to dig for more information as you guys start to head out. Manoverin does look at you a little weird, Fix, when you said you would have to have a conversation with him later. He's like, Kiros was alive in the Second Age. I know why we are still here, but I can't imagine anybody surviving that long, even among my own race. That's a bit long to live.
I've met a few that, at least a couple that have been alive since the Second Age.
You do not have to share, but I would love to know how. I mean,
Most
we were
noticeable
frozen in
is
time.
one was evil. The other,
Emphasis on was.
yes, and one was not quite organic.
In fact, I'd say with all of them, was is the key term.
No, the not quite organic one is
Well,
still
that one's
fine.
still
Very much.
is, but on a short leash.
Shea Marsk is not on any leash.
Yeah, we didn't leave.
If
him on
that's
a
what
leash.
if that's who you're
I was
talking
talking
about,
about
the
the
not
android,
organic one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
That's
wait, no, I'm
Shay.
thinking somebody else.
Yeah, you were thinking Leoros, probably.
or yeah, I think that was. There's
And
only been
then
a couple.
and then there was the people from the Pensieve, which I don't
Yes,
think were actually from the second age. I think they were more from the third age. They weren't
still
quite.
quite a while, a
Yeah,
ways.
still quite
The
a ways.
ones in the pensives, weren't they? They were right about the time that I thought they were from the time that the city was destroyed. I can't think of the name of the city off the top of my head.
Osnu.
Osnu, thank you.
Yep. hmm Yeah, which was closer to the third age. Yeah. Interesting, he says. Well, they would, if they want a piece of history or a piece of home, they're welcome to return to Saji if they feel more comfortable. Although our own people are anxious to explore the new world.
I think there will be a lot for both parties involved, or all parties involved.
All right. That would be most excellent. As you walk toward the council building, you do start to hear sounds of like metal scraping against metal, and you will start to see some sunlight, not artificial light, because everything's artificial light in here, as you remember, because it was all shut up, and it was in the astral plane, which was dark. But you'd begin to see some natural light also kind of starting to spill in. And as you notice the sounds and stuff, as you look, you see the shell starting to pull back. Everything's pulling back to open up. All of the natural light looks like they're removing the shell.
Oh, 1 second, Fix says, and he'll turn and he'll actually run to the orrery
Okay.
and find the logbook.
Okay.
Because we didn't know about the logbook when we were here last time.
You're right. You didn't. Everybody stops in the street and waits. Fix runs back off to the library. Okay. Fix, you run in.
I'll watch it run by.
What are you doing? This orrery's fixed. What are you doing? You run in, and Kashano looks like he's tinkering with some things. You see the logbook out and open.
I'll go and I will look at it, and I'm guessing he's put in entries since we fixed it. I will do a little caret where ours should be, and
right.
put our entry.
Fix an elf.
Yep. The time, date, star date, and all that.
All right, that sounds good. Kashana will kind of look at you, and as you're kind of writing in there, he's like, "Thank you for updating."
We've updated all the others.
Good. That is useful. It is useful information to know who can work on these orreries. And you
I
see,
think there's 4 of us.
yeah, about 3 more logs since you've left that has Kashano in it. And as you kind of put your little carrot in there, you do notice that before you is about 3 logs that say Kashano on them. He's obviously been taking care of this one. All right.
Then I'll head back.
All right, you head back. And you continue on your way to the council chamber. Evangeline.
Yes.
Go ahead and roll me an investigation. I will take your passive if you roll lower than your passive, but
got a 27 either way.
All right. With a 27, as you're kind of perusing the library and kind of remembering where various subjects were located in this library,
Uh-huh.
you go to an area that's like culture, almost like a social studies area, cultural studies, things like that. And you find in there a book that talks about ancient races. Um, you learn a little bit about like Aarakocras. You learn about tabaxis. You learn about Loxodon. You learn about there's all kinds of other information that you always thought were like these were just mutants, like lizard folk and things like that. That you were always taught that they were mutants. In here, they're listing them as races. They're whole. They are races. They're not mutated. You learn about some various other. You learn about the Kalashtar, which you kind of like, oh, this is interesting. And as you kind of read about the Kalashtar, you learn that they are also referred to as ancestors.
Colostar.
And you begin to learn that the Kalashtar spirits are generally, at least according to their books from the Second Age, are generally passed down in families. That once a spirit attaches to a family, they stay with the family unless the family loses its lineage. Oftentimes, a Kalashtar may be so attached, the spirit may be so attached to that family that when the last of the family dies, they choose death. They don't die, but they choose death. It does not actually kill them, but they choose it. And so therefore they just lay down their lives. They just cease to exist. Others of those spirits move on to a new family or begin adventuring among others, switching between people as they are able or accepted. They never force themselves upon another, from what you have read, um, and they're they are usually seekers of knowledge and will impart their knowledge upon others when they feel it necessary or beneficial.
Okay. I am going to look around the library and see if there's a librarian because there was a virtual librarian earlier.
Yep. As you begin to look around, you will notice almost a spectral type being kind of come into existence because now you're thinking, oh, I need help. So no, nope, okay. How may I assist you?
I will tell him, I wish to borrow this book, of which I will return.
Very well. And you'll see almost like a virtual thing come out that it looks like, I need only your hand.
Stab you, take your blood.
Hmm.
It's blood magic.
Pow! It's blood magic. No. But the spectral kind of passes through your hand, and they say, "Thank you. We now know that this book is in your care."
And I will take that book and I will put it with the journal
Okay.
and tuck it away.
Okay.
She's at the library.
Yeah, she hung out there. She said, "I'll catch up to you in a minute. I got something I want to
Actually,
look at."
I'm gonna stay
Actually,
there
he
too.
wants to be there too.
You want to be there too. All
Yeah.
right. What are you looking
Library,
for?
because now that I just thought of it, this would be the perfect place to do a little bit of research, since it's an old library with old books.
Mhm.
I want to look up anything I can find relating to Valsharoon and the Raven Queen
All right.
together, basically. But definitely anything on Valsharoon.
All right. Um, you
Start
begin.
learning what I can.
All right. You begin digging. You know what you're looking for. Go ahead and roll me an investigation.
Okay. Wow, that's a bad roll.
Uh,
Investigation. Jeez.
I just had a flash of genius.
You know what? I never remember to use it, so I'm going to use a point of. I'm going to use one of my lucky
Okay, you
Okay.
use one of your
'Cause-
lucky.
because that's just a bad roll. 18. That's better.
That's much better. Do you want to
My
give him a
first-
flash of
My
genius all
first
the
one
same?
was.
I will give him a flash of genius.
So what's that do?
Plus
gives
5,
him
I
plus
think.
5.
Plus 5, so 23.
23. All
Yeah,
right.
but my first roll is a 13, so
Okay. All right. So with your 23, you start going toward the religion area, which you vaguely remember from your last visit here. And you start looking through some books, and you find a couple of books on just gods in general.
right.
And you begin to study. The information that you come across is Velsharoon, although he kind of rules the Shadowfell mostly these days, was once the god of death, which technically he still is the god of death, but he held on to that power very, very rigidly until a young maiden whose name is not found in here uh, challenged him upon his role and managed to extract his sword from him, which was the sword of death at the time, and in the process destroyed it, or so it seemed. It was actually broken. And those two broken halves, when the Raven Queen ascended as a goddess, took those two halves and had them reforged into twin blades
Right.
and renamed them Justice and Judgment. And she now holds the keys, not necessarily to death, but into that limbo area. She is not a goddess of death. She's more like the goddess of
Purgatory.
purgatory. She is the one that escorts those who have died to the realms of which they need to be.
Okay.
And she is the keeper of that order, which is, you figure, this is why she does not like undeath, because that defies the order.
Right.
Though she did indeed use the undead of the Shadowfell to defeat Velsharoon. That was his little
Whatever
stick
it
it to the man. I will use your own followers to kill you, to defeat you.
Now my plan is to use his own sword. Or two parts of two different swords.
1.5 swords, all right? You got the full sword
I'm
this
not
time.
even going to use the second half of my sword. I don't even need that because I got the second one you tried to make. Okay. And while I'm there, I mean, if I figure I've got time, I'm gonna sit there and do more research.
Just do some more reading.
Yeah, reading
All
up on anything I can get about religion and history stuff in the Second Age.
Okay. All right. You're doing studying. Do you want to try to meet up at the council chamber at some point, or do you want to just let Fix and Forsyth handle that and say, come pick me up when you're done?
Does it feel like something I'm needed at?
It's probably more informational than anything. You're not expecting a fight. I'll put it that way. You're not expecting a fight. Manovrin basically said, hey, the Chancellor, Belisnar, would like to, talk to you. How did this happen? Wants information like, how did this happen? How did this occur? Do you have any information on how we got to the astral plane to begin with? That kind of thing. Belisnar wants to hear that.
So mostly stuff that Fix is going to know, but I'm not necessarily.
I mean, you know it, but you're not a huge talker.
Yeah. I'll let him do that. I'll stay here.
All
And
right.
Fix is going to be going back to the library after it's done, anyways. So
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll just stay
and
here.
Okay.
cadet know that I'm going to go to the council chamber. We have our communication. If you need me or anything, let me know. If we need you, we'll let you know.
We'll let you know. Forsyth,
See,
you're currently walking toward the council chamber. You gonna just go to the council chamber, or are you gonna do something different?
yeah,
Okay.
okay, one of those two.
One of those two. All right. You just let me know when
I'll
it's
go to the
something
council.
different.
I'll keep heading towards the council chamber until redirected.
leave it to
After
Forsyth
divine.
until he squirrels. Got it.
Well, we just make it simple until it isn't. In which case, that's when I shine.
Which that's when it is.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
the fun part.
Right? You're headed to the council chamber. As you're walking along, you're seeing this kind of open up. The natural light is starting to spill in. You get to the council building. You head in. Manoverin takes you over to the actual council hall. And when you walk in, you see the same 3 people sitting up there as, well, nope, 2 people, because one of them's not there right now, that you saw before. You see the chancellor, Balasnar. You see his chief advisor, an elven woman named Rima. And you see a couple of other people kind of scattered, not up on the main podium. The third seat is empty, where you remember seeing Cashano, up there. And you see
Kashana
kind of
pizza.
Cashano pizza, that's right. And there's some other seats kind of lower, not up on the pedestal per se. That there are some that are empty and there are some that have people sitting in them. Over and kind of walks over and kind of takes a stance where Kashano would normally sit. He usually stands right next to Kashano. And he introduces Chancellor Balasnar. This is You introduced yourself as Fix while you were there, didn't you? Or did you use Kofic?
I would have used Fix at that time.
Okay, he will introduce you again as Fix. The ones, him and Forsyth and him and Forsyth and 2 others are the ones that managed to bring us back from that stilled time. And you can see Belisnar kind of, oh yeah, okay, like he needed to be refreshed a little bit.
I
Got a
am
little,
going
got a little
to.
bit on the mind.
I am going to detect thoughts on the one doing the talking.
Manoverin?
Yes, not the guy who's talking to, who's obviously doesn't know much of
Chancellor.
anything. He's just in
Yeah.
charge.
Yeah.
But the
Oh,
one who's actually in charge,
okay.
because we know different.
I mean, that's valid. So you're going to detect thoughts on Manoverin, the one that led you to the council hall?
Yes.
Okay. Or the chief advisor sitting next to the chancellor.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, the chief advisor,
Okay.
because he's the one that thinks he's in charge. It probably is.
Well, that's true. She is a female, but yeah,
Okay.
she's sitting
I don't
there.
care.
Yeah, you detect thoughts on her, and as Manoverin is kind of announcing, she's like, you kind of hear her thoughts. She sounds kind of exasperated in her thoughts. She's like, like she's getting perturbed that Belisnar needed to be reminded. Basically, she's like, you should know these people. They were very important. These people actually helped us out here. You should already know these people.
Like Biden's advisors think. Sorry.
Right?
No politics, right?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
many? She's got the. How many times do I have to tell you this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got those kind of thoughts like, oh my
Wait.
gosh, like here we go
And
again.
She's his wife?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm sure that's what my wife thinks all the time.
I've reminded it of you so many times. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So she's got those thoughts kind of running in her head right now. Those are just the surface things. As Belisnar is reminded who you are, and he goes, "Oh yes, yes.
Okay.
We are back in the material plane. Was that of your doing as well?" And Belisnar
Yes.
will look at you guys. Excellent. Please, share how did you manage that? We have been working on it since we have been awakened.
Well, you were in the wrong plane, so there wasn't much you could do about it. I don't even know that I'm there yet.
No,
So
Oh, not
You're
yet.
not.
I'm not there.
I'm headed
Not
that
yet.
way, but I
You're
don't know
headed.
if I'm
You're headed that way.
I will not tell you how specifically, only that we had to correct your plane and time and anchor it to the appropriate location.
Interesting. I do wonder, would it have been possible to take us back to where we left?
You hear a voice in your head that says, "Just say no."
Probably not. Or not a good idea.
You know, butterfly effect and all.
While
You know too much of the future.
while the idea of that might be appealing to you, it would not be advantageous for the world. We could not tell what catastrophes could be that we would not have been there to fix.
You can see Balisnar is like, okay, you know, that is
If you would like, I can go into more of a philosophical and as well as technical discussion of time and space and
uh,
like giving him that I'm going to overload you with information until you just don't know what
Just say no.
no,
Oh,
no.
Now I'm yelling at the other guy, "Just say no!"
Balisnar
don't get him started.
waves his hand and he's like, no, no, the logic is fair. The logic is sound. It is understandable. Merely wishful thinking.
Understood. And I'll look to the one that introduced us and say, I apologize. We should be introduced appropriately, and introduce myself as Kofik Trenson. Actually, as Lord Kofik Trenson.
Oh,
He has the title, so might as well.
you do have the title. Um, about this time, Evangeline, you're probably walking in as Fix introduces himself and actually shares his real name for the first time with these people. Um,
And
and
I actually have on my robes.
you do have on robes. All right. You walk in with your robes, and he kind of Belisnar kind of. So I am in the presence of nobility, then, Lord Trenston.
By
Oh.
title and birth, maybe, but I prefer the robe.
not by action.
Not by action.
I mean,
Very,
I
very
guess
well.
that depends on what nobility you're referring to.
Well, you are of title, which means you are of land. From which city, might I ask?
Key.
From Key. And Belisnar kind of looks at Manoverin, and Manoverin kind of smiles and nods. Yep. Like he's confirming, yep, that's the city you're thinking of. And he says, impressive. As I have understand it, it is one of the largest cities in this world these days.
Yes.
Very well. I should make visit to Key. Perhaps
I dare
not right
say
away.
I dare say that there's going to be many visits by yourself and others to many cities in the near future.
Indeed. There are several who have petitioned to travel far and wide once the shift was able to be completed. To be fair, I was beginning to wonder if it were even possible. You wouldn't
I
happen
told
to
you we'd get
know,
it done.
and you followed through. Impressive.
I wouldn't happen to know who or what.
You wouldn't happen to know how we got shifted in the first place, did you? Would you?
No, but I'm trying to figure that out. There's only a handful of people that would have the expertise and knowledge to do so.
Well, figure it out and prevent it from happening again.
Yes, that would be very appreciative. As I understand it, I do believe Kashano is getting the orrery up and running and probably enacting the shield once again.
I would hope so. It's where he was last I saw him.
Very well. And you wear robes of a priest. He'll turn to Evangeline at this point. You wear the robes of a priest. Of what religion might you be of?
I will introduce myself as High Priestess Evangeline from the Order of Truth.
Doesn't
Um,
believe in gods, but she worships a god.
In an undertone, half
but I worship
truths.
a couple.
But I worship a couple.
Not,
Order of Truth.
not a religious affiliation with a god. Yet.
Very well. Interesting. You have priests and priestesses in this order that does not follow a god.
Correct.
That's
I
what
would
they
like
think
to know
they
more
are.
of your order. That's
Our
because they
order
think they're the
is
god. That's right.
currently undergoing change.
Very well. And well then, well, enjoy our city by all means. Should you need any assistance, feel free to come by the council hall. Anybody could assist you, or even call on Manovran. Manovran is very quickly becoming our ambassador.
That's a good thing to have as you try to reintegrate yourselves into the material plane.
Indeed. He has traveled many places here because he can.
As have we.
Um, this will be the first time any of our people travel. Well, I have a full day's work ahead of me here and probably for the next several days as I begin to grant these petitions. Um, cannot have my city emptied.
I think that it may be prudent to establish diplomatic relations with these cities as they are now before we start sending folks out who will spread the word of what has happened without any level of control. It may cause chaos. Chaos is useful, but I don't think so in this situation.
Others prefer balance.
He's not here though. It's okay. Uh, Perhaps,
I would like to say, and others would prefer truth.
but it seems like they didn't.
coming.
See, they're the order of truth because they always sought the truth, not that they gave the truth. He says fitting. I will take that under advisement for sure. I will probably have some trusted folk be the first to leave to venture forth. It will cause chaos in my own city for a bit of time, but better here than across the entire world.
Yes. And with that, I'll actually look over to his advisor, sort of like a, please keep this in line.
She'll kind of give you a little nod. Just like, I
would
got it.
I would like to be able to say there might be key people that need to come here as well for integration back into the world. Most of them are already here. But specifically thinking of a few, for example, I can't remember his name. Cadets guy.
Cadets guy. Irwin?
Irwin.
Oh,
Irwin is good.
Erwin would probably jump at the chance to come here.
Right.
Probably nobility of some sort, or ambassadors of some sort from all the
Say-
major cities.
From the major cities.
Zybella.
You can see that Balastar is not really doing a whole lot, but you see Rima kind of scribbling on a parchment as you jotting some names, locations. If you give them locations like, oh, Zybella from Ephraimon, you should talk to her, things like that, and asking clarifying questions. Oh, where is that? Like some clarifying questions. Occasional look to Maneuverin, and Maneuverin kind of gives a shake or nod. Not interjecting a whole lot, but will confirm or deny whatever they might be thinking. And that goes for a little bit of time, just sharing some information and integration, and eventually, he will offer, Belisnar will offer that you are welcome to stay here. We do have an inn, of course, that does not get used very often, but you are welcome to stay here and rest for the evening.
Times they could be changing.
Yeah, we might need to add another one if people get curious about the new city that just suddenly appeared. So yeah, you are welcome to stay here. We will provide for your room, your board, eat, drink, rest, and you have full use of the city. I mean, within reason, of course. Don't go into personal homes, but you know.
You will
I'm
be
not that social.
diplomatic.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Huh. The Jagged Dream has been around how long?
The Jagged Dream has been around since about the 4th age.
Okay.
Yeah, not quite this far back.
I was just wondering if perhaps there was somebody that had been stuck in time with them, because when we first came, Fix was not in the position he's
You
in
were
now.
not. Yeah. So as far as you know, it's only gone back to the 4th age. Where it began, hard to say.
Well, then I guess.
It begins in
Do
the
I
thoughts
feel
of men.
anybody? Yeah. Do I feel anybody else besides the 5 of us, or the 4 of us?
You do not.
Worth to check, but hey.
Nobody who's actually, committed an oath.
Well, with that, I will I'll just go ahead and go back to the library.
All right, you head back to the library. Forsyth, information was exchanged. You yawn a bit. Eventually things end, and Fix heads back toward the library. Evangeline, you gonna follow him back to the library?
Well,
Okay. Forsyth, what are you doing?
I'm going to wander the town and look for, we'll call it, for lack of a better word, gathering places.
Okay. You look around in the town, and as you're looking for that thieves' cant, and you see some buildings that are marked interestingly. It's almost like a thieves' camp, but you're not 100% sure. And you start following it around in the city for a little bit, and you finally make your way to a building that's kind of tucked back in an alley. And as you're kind of looking at this, you can't be surprised, right?
No.
Okay. As you're kind of looking at this, you sense somebody kind of walking up behind you.
All right. I will. Are there any like street benches or anything like that?
Not in this little area. There's some boxes and crates like that looks like they're like storage
Okay.
kind of waiting to be
Any
received or
alleys?
whatever. You're in an alley.
I'm in an alley. Okay. And there are doors?
There are a couple doors.
Okay. I'm going to walk past the door and sit on the next box I find, or crate.
Okay.
Something.
Okay.
Well, I'm fairly lightweight, so anything that'll hold my weight is
Okay.
fine.
All right.
And I'm just going to sit there and then stare.
All right. As you sit there, the person that you kind of sensed walking behind you, you sit and you turn and you kind of look that direction. Walks up and kind of leans against the wall a little bit at the door that you were looking at, that you're pretty sure that's where the thieves' cant kind of led you, or what you believe is the thieves' cant led you. Kind of
Right.
leans against the door, and from the posture, you can tell that it's a female elf. And she
Right.
kind of cocks her head at you a little bit, and she pulls back her hood, and you see dark hair, a fairly pale skin. She doesn't see a whole lot of sunlight, but then Saji hasn't seen a lot of sunlight in a while. Fairly pale skin.
Only a couple thousand years.
Only a couple thousand years. And she smirks. She's like, I'm not so sure you know what you're looking for.
I'll know when I find it. And I will basically say, hello, how are you, in thieves' cant.
All right. All right. So you give a couple of code words and a little hand gesture, and she went, huh. Well, I think you found it then. And she'll open the door.
And I will arise and follow her in. I will not proceed.
All right. She'll follow you in and shut the door behind you. Inside this room is several crates and whatnot. And she'll walk around you and she'll go toward the back of the room, because this looks just like a warehouse, really. And she'll open up like a trap door that blended in very well with the floor. It would have taken a really good investigation on that. But she opens up a trap door, and it leads to a ladder that leads to a tunnel. And she's like, welcome, friend.
No problem. Let's see what you guys are up to.
All right. You head down. She'll close the door behind you. Some lights kind of light up in the tunnel as you walk by. They're motion sensor. As you walk by. You walk down a tunnel a little bit, and it opens up almost to like a sub-city. You open up into several, it's very large room with several like almost storefronts, a couple of places that look more like living areas. There's an area toward the back that looks more like a bar, and whatnot. And she comes in and she shakes a few hands of people that's there, and she'll introduce you to a few people, and she'll say, by the way, my name is Felisa, and
Felisa?
Felisa, and
Okay.
welcome. And she'll introduce you to a few people,
Right.
saying, hey, found a new friend, and da 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 da. And they'll ask you questions because they all know that they have shifted. Everybody in the city
Right.
felt the shift.
I will
So,
hold some information back, but I will be as upfront as I can without revealing our purpose or who we actually are.
all right. And
We
you
are
could tell,
friends.
yeah, you can tell that there's an air of excitement here because a
Right.
thieves guild cut off from the rest of the world isn't a very profitable thieves guild. So it's kind of like,
So, do you all have a leadership structure within your guild?
oh, she will say, yes, come. Um, I will introduce you.
I would appreciate that.
Uh, and she will lead you to a gentleman kind of that's sitting at the bar, kind of watching everything. She will lead you up. Do you give her your name?
Yeah, because no
Okay.
one here is going to know who Forsyth is.
Nope. um, she will walk up to a gentleman sitting at the bar. This gentleman is a tiefling, which
So not trustworthy at all.
not trustworthy, or maybe trustworthy. I don't know. This
Yeah,
gentleman is a
you
tiefling,
trust him to steal things.
right? And she will say, Grayson. His name is Grayson. Grayson, this is our friend
Forsyth.
Forsyth, new to Shaji since we have shifted. And Grayson will get a smile on his face. He'll be like, ha ha, somebody who's part of the ninth world or ninth age.
All right, so he's at a bar, right? There's bottles at the bar, right? I'm going to reach out
All right.
and let the bottle come to me.
All right. He
I'm going to
smiles.
put them on their back foot, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like, ha ha, that's a neat trick you have there. And he'll scoot his
Yeah.
glass over. So,
Life,
you know.
and I'll pour him a drink and pour myself one. So is there a place that we, you, myself, and maybe your lieutenants can just sit and have a chat?
Absolutely. We can do that just about anywhere here. But if you want complete privacy, and he'll point over to another area that has a table, that you're pretty sure it has like an orb or a crystal kind of sitting in the middle of the table.
Ah,
It's like, that's the
so
place to go.
Maxwell Smart's cone of silence.
Yeah, pretty much. You got it.
Okay. Yes, I would prefer some privacy. Not that I don't trust your people, but there are things you need to know. Yeah, they are thieves. There are things you
are
need to
thieves.
know that they don't currently need to know. Maybe sometime in their life, but not at this time.
Certainly. And Grayson will look at Felisa and say, Felisa, gather. She says, of course. And she jogs off as he picks up his glass and motions you over to the table, and he heads over to the table. You sit
I
down.
will go.
He puts his hand on the orb and kind of gives it a little bit of a rub, like a little push, almost
Yeah.
like as if you were rotating it a little bit. And everything else is drowned out. You don't hear the
Nice
noise of the
trick you
city
have there.
anymore. Yeah, well, it definitely comes in handy when you need to share
Yeah.
information.
Yes, understand.
After a little bit of time, Felisa and two others will show up and sit down.
Okay. I will introduce myself. Hi, I'm Forsyth. I come from a town called White Lake, a fair piece from here, but I was helpful in returning you to this plane of existence. And there are certain things you as sort of an underground workforce within this town need to know to better acclimate the whole into your new reality. Because for most of you, this is just that, a new reality. And I will wait and let them introduce themselves.
Okay. They will all introduce themselves. I will come up with
Right.
2 more names for you later. Grayson and Felisa and
Yeah.
thing 1 and thing 2.
Jack and Jill. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tommy and
Husband
Dickie.
and wife.
There you go. Yeah.
Your leadership, and I know there's a symbiosis that exists, but we don't necessarily acknowledge it. But you need to be in a position right now to help your leadership, because for your city to comfortably exist within this reality, you need to make friends and not enemies. So you have to be very careful to smooth any relationships, at least until you become acceptable to the rest of the population of the realm. Because let's face it, they're not going to trust you at first, and it's probably best if you, especially as the leadership here, but even down to the lowest bartender in your guild, understand that they have to fit in as a whole to be able to down the road operate. So you're going to have to play a long game instead of trying to play a short game.
That is very valid. You speak wisdom.
We
Oh,
try.
that's I had no
But
intention on letting everybody run willy-nilly, that's for sure.
yeah, understand. And I didn't think you had, but I wanted to make sure that we're on the same page, because while we are both, how shall I put it, used to taking things when we want them, we
That is valid.
need to be careful, because for you to raise the rest of the world into an outrage, that's not going to cut it.
Yeah,
That's not going to help you.
That's
It's not going to
gonna
help
work.
me. Not that I need the help, but the reality is, you've got to be careful to be kind, at least for now,
Indeed.
and
Indeed.
learn, because there are other thieves guilds around, and if they don't feel you stepping on their toes, they'll accept you quicker. And you know that, because you'd be the same way. So,
Indeed.
and if you ever need help, you can reach out to me, and I will suggest starting with the town of Key, because while I might be from White Lake, I'm better known in Key, and they appreciate the things I've done for them, and you can find me through the town of Key,
Very well.
because they'll know how to get in touch with me no matter where I am.
I will indeed. I will, for now, learn. Our job is to learn. Learn what is in this
Right.
new world.
Right.
We gotta know what's there.
Because you want to survive.
Yep. That is very, very wise. And he will kind of make a motion, and somebody will come in with, more cups for those that didn't bring a cup, and a couple of bottles, and then they'll disappear before they
Right.
continue to talk,
Right.
begin to share drinks. And they will open up conversation, answer questions as you feel needs to
Right.
be answered. And
Right.
you will spend some
So,
time in the Thieves Guild.
right.
All right.
They will learn of me, and I will learn of them.
Yep. And they will hang on what knowledge you give them from the new world,
Right.
because none of them have been here or experienced it. Kadath, in the meantime, while you're at the library reading away, was there anything in particular that you were looking for, or just continuing to read?
Um, you know, I since they probably have more books on the various gods and things like that, I probably focus mostly on that.
Okay.
Since I've had a lack of access to knowledge about most of them,
Yeah. You have quite a
so
bit of knowledge about the Raven Queen, and
and a
then
little bit
some
about
about Velsharoon.
and a little bit about Gond and a little bit about what's his name?
Denier
Here.
Veneer.
and a
But
little
that's a
bit about Severus.
yeah, but even those like
Yeah.
barely anything.
It's barely
So
nothing.
I'm gonna be like
You're just
perusing all
soaking up.
the religious texts, but especially about the gods themselves.
All right. So you're gonna pull in that religion. Fix, you head back to the library. What are you looking for?
I go to the curator because
Okay.
I'm not going to go digging through all these books. Um,
You walk into the library, you start to head toward what you believe is the curator, and you're thinking, I'm not. And suddenly a spectral image kind of shows up in front of you, or at least right next to you, and paces you and says, "How may I be of assistance?"
did we ever
Oh,
get a name?
no, the main guy that you were talking to was just the librarian, but these little specters seem to be other librarians.
What's your name?
Oh, I
PR 549.
yeah, PR 549. I don't have a name.
Oh,
I am the nameless
well,
one.
you should have a name. I will call you.
He will call you Jennifer. Oh.
I will call you
No,
George.
I will call you
I
Jimmy.
will hug him and I
Like
will
Jimmy.
squeeze him.
Jimothy.
Yes.
Timothy.
Jimothy. All right. Jimothy it is.
I see any and all text you have on, and then I'll lean in and very lightly whisper the name of the Raven Queen, the actual name.
The actual name. You actually
Which
see
I
the
think me and you're the only ones that actually
the,
know.
the only ones that actually know it.
That we know of.
You you
So that's
you
Yeah.
will you will see the specter kind of glitch almost. It like falters just a little bit. Uh, uh,
This does not compute.
yeah, kind of. Um, I, I I believe that the books you may be looking for is in the section of the religion. I don't believe any books actually mention the name.
Okay. Good to know. But the fact that you knew means that it is in your database somewhere.
It will just look at you.
I'm caught. Oh no.
Like,
Oh shoot.
Oh, dang it. Suddenly, Jimothy is no more.
Jimothy implodes.
No, it just sits there and kind of just waits for you.
There's more robots that way.
Asks at it. So
Okay. And a bit more on a more greedy line of questioning for myself. Would you have? I know that you were able to find one for my friend last time we were here, but do you happen to have a tome of leadership and influence?
Yes. Do you wish to begin reading?
Yes. And I would like to take it with me to complete that reading.
Oh, if you wish to take a book from the library, it'll pull out a little thing. I need your hand. You
I
see
will
like a
offer my hand.
spectral box kind of there.
Library card.
The spectral box will kind of pass through your hand, and she will say, I will bring this book to you, and we now have record that it will be in your care.
which one are you reading?
Tome of
And it
Leadership and
disappears.
Influence.
Oh,
The
see,
one
I
that
should.
provides charisma.
Yeah, I should get that one.
Then it appears and lays a book in your hands.
Many things.
I didn't even think about that.
You find a place to sit and begin reading, or do you do something else?
I will head over and find a place to start reading. But as I do, I will connect to Kadath and let him know that while there are no books here that mention the name, in the curator's data bank of sorts, there is a reference from one to the other.
So it knows it, but it isn't allowed to access the information.
I shall neither confirm nor deny.
Maybe.
That is what it seems.
I'm curious about that at this point. Next time I commune, maybe I'll ask about it.
Okay.
If you recall the difficulty we had in just reading the name.
Yeah. But now I'm curious why her real name is so guarded.
There's
Or if
power in
it's,
a name.
well, there is power in a name. But I'm curious what she would say about the matter. Or if she would say anything.
She'd say, "Keep my name out your mouth." Oh,
Keep my name out your mouth, you silly mortal.
All right. So you find a place to sit and read. Kadeth, you're still just reading about gods and just soaking up as much information as you can. Evangeline, you followed Fix back to the library. What are you doing?
Finding a place to sit. I'm going to pull out the book that I just took from the library,
Okay.
and I'm going to pull out the journal.
Okay.
And I'm just going to start perusing these ancient races and timelines and popes, amber
Okay.
popes, and doing
Start.
that overlay thing.
Yeah, getting the timeline laid out.
Exactly.
Gotcha. You're
I'm going to
doing
try to find out
study.
where the breakdown was.
Yep.
Where
All
did
right.
all things go wrong?
You're doing study. All right. As you guys are kind of sitting in the library, Forsyth, you're down in with the Thieves Guild, chatting with the Thieves Guild. A gentleman walks into the library, and it kind of walks in. I don't know who's got the highest perception, other than Forsyth, who is with the Thieves Guild.
passive
Yeah, that would be
17.
Evangeline.
perception, passive is only 12.
Okay.
Insight is much higher, but
Weak
Um,
people.
as he walks in, Evangeline, you notice that he's almost out of place. I mean, he's finely dressed. He looks well. He doesn't necessarily look like a scholarly type person, but he's not like in rags. He's not like poor of the poor or anything. You know, he walks in, but what makes him stand out is he's not looking for books. He's looking at people. He's not looking at books. And that catches your eye. And after a minute, he kind of takes a little bit of a kind of a deep breath and begins to walk toward Fix. And that is where we're going to take a break because I need to use the restroom.
unacceptable.
We'll be
All right.
back in 10 minutes.
Work for me, and then I'll let you know somebody's coming.
Hello, and welcome back. All right, where we last left off, Cadeth, Evangeline, and Fix are hanging out in the library doing reading and research, taking in as much knowledge as they can. Forsyth is hanging out in the Thieves Guild, sharing, imparting some of his wisdom, and sharing a drink with Grayson, the leader of the Thieves Guild here, and a couple of his lieutenants, for lack of better terms. And Evangeline spots a gentleman who walks into the library, kind of lets out almost a stilling sigh, like he's stilling himself, preparing himself to approach. And he begins to walk up to Fix.
And I will, through the communication, let Fix know someone's approaching him.
I'll smirk kind of as I'm looking down at the book, and like right as he steps up, I'll look up straight at him.
Okay.
Yes.
He kind of starts just a little bit. I do not recognize you. I do not know you. I assume it is because of this planar shift thing that you are probably from the New World.
Well, the old world. New. Yes.
Thank you. My name is Elminar.
Almanar.
Ulminar?
Yes,
I'm Kofik, but most call me Fix.
it is an honor to meet you.
I
You
don't know, but okay.
you may not recognize me because I am, well, of the second age, but I definitely know of your presence.
I'll look around his neck.
Um, you do see a chain. You don't see a pendant on it because, well, it's underneath a bunch of
Right.
tunics and stuff. It's underneath his tunic and his and a robe, you know, like it's underneath everything. But there's
Right.
a chain.
I'm assuming the cause is what's on that chain.
It is. I not going to lie, I'm a little surprised that it has survived this many ages.
Well, I've not yet dug into the entire history of it, but it has been in hands, whether good or bad, throughout the ages.
I will I will let you know that myself and a couple of friends started this adventure in Filolio.
So,
Um,
are you
I
saying that you are founding members?
I mean, I suppose so. I mean, we started it, so that would be the logical assumption. Um, it it was my friend, of course, who kind of took the lead on some things, but we were in conjunction with one another. I can't say any one of us was more at fault than another. Um, we may have actually started the downfall of Filolio ourselves, personally. Not an act I'm extremely proud of, but it happened. And of course, I came here to Shaji. The other two left to their own various cities, and we split company because, well, we wanted nothing traced back to us. But apparently, the order the group has continued.
It has. I refer to it as an organization at this point, but who knows what it should be.
I mean, how big is it? Might I
Yes.
ask? Yes.
At least in reach.
Interesting. I felt it odd. I have followed the sensation since I've begun to feel it sometime this morning when we
We brought
shifted.
you back into the realm.
Yes. It had no, it did not do that when it was just the three of us. This is new magic. Or perhaps old magic revived.
I believe there has been many additions and alterations and agreements and bargains struck over the ages that have molded the organization. Tell me, what was the original intent?
Filolio was experiencing a lot of backstabbing, conspiracies, people in power that other people wanted to remove from position. There was a lot of unrest, which the three of us took full advantage of course. Unfortunately, in our full advantage, I'm pretty sure that we might have started some things that probably killed a couple of people and brought destruction upon the city. Let me ask: Have
Yeah,
you
we've never done that.
have you been have you been to Filolio?
Yes.
You know there is a placard there.
Yes, you know that.
Yeah, I was trying to ask.
Like, wow.
Yes, we did see that.
Yes.
Evangeline.
That's just
Yeah.
Rhonda helping out Joe.
Yes.
Refresh my memory. I have to find it. I know that there's a placard there, but I can't find my names. So you have to give me a second. Doggone it. Where the heck is it? That's the empty sanctum.
Would you like me to look it up?
Sure. Although I might be able to find it just as fast. If I flip through here, I'll find it because it's a whole list of names in one
Yep, I
corner
have
of a
it under
page.
Filolio.
Ah, I found it.
Pilodo.
Piloto. There's a placard there. You recognize the name Denska? And
I think he
Trodu.
went to my junior high.
Danska. Edanska?
Danska
and Trodu.
Produ.
The conflict was mostly between their two families. Trodu won, of course. Ended up taking out most of the family of Danska with some information provided by the three of us. And then, of course, Trodu proceeded to pretty much destroy the city. Although many of the family left, or many of the other families, the founding families left before it truly was destroyed. I'm sure that they found other cities or founded other cities perhaps in the Ba-Denu forest. But yeah, that was
Are
that was
either
us.
I'm trying to make sure I'm thinking of the right thing. This is Joe asking. Was that the placard where one of Zybella's parents or family was listed?
Hmm. I
And
believe
what was hers?
hers was the Drothy.
Drothy.
I thought her name was on here.
I thought it was too. Yes, it is. It's the third one on my list.
Okay. Yep,
Zybella's
Vedrathi.
surname.
Yeah, Vedrathi was on there. The person that you killed, I think, was in there. I think he was not Koleth. Was he Koleth? Or Olin? Yeah, there's a
Olin.
couple of names from there. Olin, Koleth,
I think Olin was the one
Vedrathi.
they killed.
Farvin's surname was Olin.
Yeah.
England's surname was Colette.
Nothing's wrong with you. Be quiet.
Ginlin's surname is Koleth.
Yes.
Crobash and Duskfang are both in there as well. Or at least they should be.
So the war were of these two families.
Oh no, it was not. But it was Koleth and Olin. The war in Philolia was between the Trudeau and the Danska. Other families left because, well, you don't get between the two great families when they decide to collide.
Pretty sure we have, but either way.
Yeah, we're good at that.
Well,
I can't say that
I'm not there. I'm reading.
I can't say that our goals have changed much, but our methods are much more surgical.
probably wise. I mean, over time, methods become more precise and less obvious.
Yes. So it seems your connection to me has remained, but my connection to you has waned.
I'm not sure how. I will be honest. We had no such connection between the three of us. I don't know how it honestly affected me.
I think there's one person I could ask, but that'll have to happen another time. Where do we go from here?
Well, you are of the new world. I am much out of date. Should you have use of me, I will be here.
I'll look around. Is there anyone else here?
There's a few people milling about doing things, not really paying any attention whatsoever. You know that there's private rooms. You know that it's a grand library. Like, it rivals the university library.
I'll smile, I'll pick up my book, and I'll say, "Follow me." And I'll move to one of the private rooms.
All right. He'll follow you into a private room.
And then I will extend my hand out to him, expectantly.
He'll kind of look at it. It'll take him a second. But then he'll pull off the pendant and hold out his hand with the pendant.
And I'm trying to remember the exact ritual. I know it has to do with blood.
I don't remember. I'll be fair. I don't remember. I'm thinking, well, I don't remember if he bleeds on your pendant or if you bleed on his pendant. I don't really have a clue.
I think it's.
I don't have a pendant, so.
Mm.
I was gonna say, I think it's
You
the
believe on
leader
his then?
onto the pendant.
Yeah, it's the leader onto the pendant. That's right.
And I think they have to bleed onto it as well.
That would make sense. It'd be like a blood oath.
Right.
Yep.
So I'll take it and I will squeeze it so that these sharp edges cut into my hand and bleed onto it. And then I
All
will
right.
hand it back and watch him.
And he will do the same. He'll squeeze it until it cuts into him and he bleeds on it. He'll open it back up. And you'll see kind of the blood kind of soak into the pendant.
Do I feel his presence at that point?
You do. He doesn't seem to experience any change, but you do sense his presence.
I'll smile. There you are.
Interesting. I would have to say old magic. And he puts it back on, tucks it back away.
For now, acclimate yourself, learn of the new world. If there is need, I will call on you.
Very well.
Are there any others here?
No, it is just I. And being all cards on the table, I am the grandson to Belisnar. My path is not for government. Belisnar is the chancellor here at Shaji.
You seek no governmental place?
No, much too stuffy for me.
Do you feel that your grandfather is fit for the job?
He's getting up there in age, but he's always been a wise leader, and he does have wise counsel.
It seems so.
Rima and Manover both.
I have wise guy counsel.
Wise guy. You are a wise guy. Rima and Manover both do him well.
Very well. Welcome back.
Oddly enough, it feels good to be back.
Is there anything that I can do for you?
I don't believe so, no. I mean, you have already answered some of my questions, and the rest will come with time.
Very well. Well, I must get back to my reading.
Very well. He'll kind of give you a nod, and he'll say farewell, and he'll walk out.
I will give the group a quick overview of what transpired and then go back to reading. How to win friends and influence people.
How to win friends and influence people.
I will advise the group across the link that that the Thieves Guild here is on board with supporting the government in transitioning back to this world.
Good to know.
I'll just say, while we're sharing, I'm just learning a lot about the gods. And then go back to mostly ignoring and reading.
And since we're sharing, I'm not sharing.
Evangeline's there. You hear a lot of.
Oh,
How rude.
How rude.
Any you find on Kadath, I would love to take a look at when you're done with them, Kadath. Any that you find on Gond. If I said any, I think I misspoke. But
yeah, there are no books on me, but not yet anyway.
Give it time. Give it time.
Wait a couple. Wait, like maybe 50 years. Maybe there'll be a book on me, but at least like 10 years. You know.
Oh yes, there will be books on Gond for sure. There's a temple here.
Yeah.
Of
I'll
course,
just-
there's Book of God.
Oh,
I'll just pull one out of the stack and set it aside. Yep, there's one right here. You can grab it when you want it.
I will have to remember to go to the temple at some point.
All right. All right. Evangeline, as you're laying out timelines and ignoring everything that's going on around you,
Yes.
short of telling Fix that someone was approaching, you're laying out these timelines. As far as you can tell, with the Order of Truth and the papacy, the papacy started really at the end of the Fourth Age, I believe is what I told you before, because it was after all of the destruction of the cities. It was, after a chunk of time that passed that the papacy began. This book of cultures, from what you're reading in this library, they were very vibrant at the Second Age. They were scattered across the lands, and integrated among many of the cities. As far as you can tell here in Shaji, just from the people that you have interacted with, it is mostly elven here. But you have seen a scattering of other races. You've seen dwarves and halflings and a couple of tieflings that they're not quite as common in here. You've seen a couple of these stranger cultures like Aarakocra and Tabaxi and things like that. Just a small sprinkling of them scattered throughout, but it is heavily a majority of elven. But there are some humans here as well. So it's not like the humans came later or anything. The humans were here. It just you're not really sure what happened between the Second Age and the Fourth Age that made most of these races either just disappear or go into hiding or shift to some place where it's mostly human in the steadfast at this point. The entire steadfast, it's mostly human. You're not really sure what happened between the two sections.
Okay.
There is a chunk of history that is missing between your history of the papacy, the journal that you have, and the Book of Cultures races.
Well, you know what I'm gonna do next.
You're going to consult the Book of Denier.
I certainly am. If he's going to be my god, then he needs to act like it.
All right. You consult the Book of Denier. As you kind of consult like what happened culturally, and you start kind of digging into the Book of Denier, you start to see a little bit of information. There's not a whole lot of information, but a little bit of information of there were some toxins that were released due to the destruction of some of these cities. There were toxins that hindered some of the races, affected more races than others. Seemed that most of these toxins humans were immune to. Um, there were also wars that broke out, partially because the humans were immune to this. Of course, the humans were blamed. So there was wars that broke out. The humans were usually stronger because they had the number, um, to begin with. They had the number, and then they just continued to grow. Um, to keep the peace, you learn that many of the elves encouraged the other races to kind of quell the situation, to stop massive war, and to allow people to disappear and live peacefully. The elves actually encouraged the split, allow the humans to just take over their area, which they mostly claimed the steadfast during the end of the Third Age, Fourth Age. They claimed kind of the steadfast, and the other races would just take a back seat. The Elvens chose to kind of hide off in the beyond at the Bada Denu, mostly and near there. And some of the like lizard folk went up north to the jungles. Some of the other races actually moved beyond the beyond. You assume that is now inside the clock of Kala.
And so I would like.
Inside the Coca-Cola.
Yes, inside the Coca-Cola. We're going original recipe.
Of course.
Cocaine included.
Absolutely. Although that didn't actually come along till a little later, but
So, and you do kind of, it kind of all lines up with the shifting of the gods, all of that stuff, because when the humans kind of took over, it was very much, this is our world. And then as that chaos, as the wars were subsiding, people wanted something, and that's kind of the birth of the Order of Truth.
They wanted something to believe in.
little something to believe.
So you learn a little bit about the history.
Okay. I'll take that.
All right.
As I begin to piece together what happened in the ages to lead the people better.
So, the day moves on. You start pushing in tonight. Kadeth, are you looking for anything in specific or just reading about the gods?
In
There is a
general, reading
temple.
about them, but there's a temple for
The Raven Queen.
Oh yeah, because didn't I go?
Mhm.
in
You
it?
walked through a tapestry.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So I'll probably plan to go there before the evening,
Okay.
before it gets too late, basically.
Okay.
But as far as like what I'm gonna research, I just want to get a feel for now. Like my plan will be, I'm gonna practically live at this library at some point in the future and learn all I can. But for now, I want to just get a general idea for what happened in the first and second age.
All right. Okay. First and second age, it seems that, the world was young. The gods were heavily involved. You kind of hear about them kind of walking among the races, guiding the races, encouraging them to be innovators and, and whatnot. It was very much a very unified in the first couple of ages. And the races flourished and under the guidance of the gods, and then as the gods pulled back and they began to flourish on their own per se, and the gods just watched from afar. And from there you kind of just get the varying, like, you start to hear, it's almost like a soap opera between the gods as it starts to happen by the end of the second age. That it is, just some gods vying for power, other gods, um, pledging allegiance to more powerful gods, and some gods are slain, other gods take over. A lot of turmoil among the gods that ultimately led to the destruction of the first 8 cities.
Okay.
Ultimately, as the evil gods began to just rip apart the world.
Okay. Does it happen to mention the original scar?
It does mention that it was Velsharoon that pulled apart the land. It wasn't quite like a strike, kind of like what you felt in Thrice,
Mm-hmm.
but it was actually like pulled apart.
Hmm.
There is some mention that Velsharoon did that as a response to being defeated by a
Threw a
certain.
tantrum.
Yeah, he threw a tantrum, basically.
Okay.
Kind of, showing, I'll show you who the god of death is, and millions of people died.
But then he got kicked to the underworld.
Yeah,
Like, go sit in your corner.
yeah, kind of.
Okay. And like I said before, it gets super late. I'll head to the Raven Queen Temple.
Okay. As the evening kind of dies down, you see people leaving the library and whatnot, and Kadeth, you're gonna head to the Raven's Queen's temple. Fix, at some point you're gonna head to Gon's temple, I'm assuming.
Probably
Evan
bump into each other.
Probably as you're leaving the library. Evangeline, um, obviously rooms were offered to you at the local inn. You each have your own room. You're welcome to go to the inn. You can go check out another temple. What are you doing, Evangeline?
Well, first of all, since I was here the first time, I didn't really look, but I know that there were lots of temples to lots of gods.
Mhm.
So I'm going to look for a temple to either first Denier and then maybe Severus.
Okay. Denier is easy to find. He's a prominent god. God of knowledge. Who doesn't want that? Uh, you will find Denier without trouble. Uh, the entrance to Denier's temple looks like the entrance to a grand library. There's some statues of what looks like scholars holding books, quills, things like that. As you walk into that temple, it's very nice, very elaborate. Um, whoever's there will welcome you to the Temple of Denier, the Temple of Knowledge. How may we assist you?
That's the we think we know everything people.
I mean, currently they think they do.
At first,
Little
I
do
will
they know.
pull out the quill and the book to
You will
see
pull
if
out the
there's
book.
recognition.
There is recognition. She says, you are the keeper of knowledge.
I'll nod my head.
How may we assist you? This time it's a little bit more humble. How may we assist you?
I will say, being that this is the first temple to Denier that I have been in, I wish to commune with Denier inside a temple of his.
Very well. This is, and she'll kind of point through a couple of doors that are open. She's like, this is the main sanctuary. Most people will come and pray and offer their gifts to Denier here. However, for a more private commune, we do have smaller rooms.
I will opt for the former.
All right. She will lead you into the temple. It's very beautiful. They're pews. They're kind of like Catholic pews, only they have like a little table. Like you sit down and there's a little table in front of you almost. It is designed to have books open for whatever purpose. It is a Temple of Knowledge. Of course, there's going to be places for books. You will also see some shelves along the way that have books of just, I mean, at a glance of all kinds of stuff. There's books on plants, there's books on animals, there's books on gods, even beyond Denier, there's books on gods. There's, of course, books on Denier himself. There are books of history, you know, there's all kinds of books. You probably figure this is a lot of general knowledge in here, being that it's so open to the public and whatnot. There's no secretive knowledge in here that you could find, but there's definitely books on the shelves. She will lead you kind of toward the front. At the very front, there is an altar. There is a giant book that's kind of open on the altar there. It at a quick glance, it looks empty. It looks very similar to the book of which you are holding, but you know it's not that book because you're holding that book. And so you're welcome to sit down anywhere and flip open your book and commune.
So the book on the altar,
Uh-huh.
does that appear to be a symbolic replica?
Yes.
I will take a seat
All right.
and open the book.
All right. And you begin to commune.
Yes.
All right. You think of your 3 questions for communing. Fix. You go to the Temple of Gond?
I do.
All right. At the Temple of Gond, the last time you were here, were there people here or was that before you woke up the people? I don't remember.
It was before I woke up the people.
Okay.
So I don't believe that there were. Or they.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe.
Okay. All right. Well, as you walk in, you will see somebody kind of approach you and say, "Oh, welcome to the Temple of Gond." And then, are you wearing the apron or the plate?
Actually, he would be wearing the plate until he like stepped in. Like as soon as his foot touched the floor, it would shift to the apron. Which
Okay.
it still has a prominent emblem of Gond
Okay.
on the front of it. So
Okay. All right.
there's no hiding that this is an artifact of Gond.
This is an artifact of Gond. All right. They will say, "Welcome to the Temple of Gond," and they'll stop and they'll kind of, you see that they recognize that you are wearing a symbol of Gond, and you know it's pretty prominent. And they said, "How may we assist you?"
I would like to see your forge.
Very well. And
Your hidden forge.
they'll kind of stop for a moment. Very well. They kind of head on and they take you to, I think it was behind the altar, or was it under the altar?
It was below the altar.
It was below the altar. Okay, I couldn't remember for sure. All right, they'll walk into the sanctuary and they'll kind of look around. There's a couple of people there. It doesn't look like there's anybody there that doesn't like work at the temple. And so they kind of just look around and acknowledge that there's no stragglers going on here. And then they'll walk over to the altar and they will open it up for you.
I'll go down and start taking out my tools and everything, which I would assume they also have symbols of Gond on them, little marks on it and such.
Yep.
And I'll get to work, trying to figure out how to incorporate the combined metal with my armor.
Okay. All right. You are going to begin to work on that. This is going to facilitate a commune spell. So if you have some questions for Gond, prepare some questions for Gond. You don't have to, but it is facilitating a commune by doing this, especially in his forge. Or in a consecrated forge anyway. His forge is in Makala.
Right.
But a consecrated forge. Kadeth, you head over to the Temple of Raven Queen?
Yeah. On my way there, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull out my sending stone.
Okay.
Almost forgot I had it. And just send a message to um
Erwin?
Erwin. Say if you're available, I'd like to have you come somewhere in about half an hour to an hour. I'll come get you if you're good. Based something like that.
Okay.
I
All
mean, you could
right.
just shorten to be like, Saji's back again. Oh.
I'm not even saying.
Shachi's back.
I'm not even telling him that yet.
Right.
All right.
Rumors will
Mostly in
start.
case somebody else catches it instead of him.
He will respond. Um, still enthrised. So I am available when you're ready.
And then I'll go on to the temple.
All right. You go on to the temple. When you walk into the temple of the Raven Queen, someone begins to approach you and then stops. Like they don't even say, "How can we help you?" They just stop, and they take a couple of steps back and they bow to you. They bow rather low, and they say, "Of how can we be of service?"
Uh, who are your masters here?
Master, High Priest Sharlock.
Sharlock? Take me to them.
Very well.
Take me
They
to
will
Sherlock's home.
Sherlock, no doubt. That's what it sounds
And
like.
second priest.
Sharlock.
And second priest
Scarlock.
Warlock.
Second, yeah. Scarlock. Sorry, it's Skarr.
Sharlock.
Scarlock. Yeah. Um, they will lead you through a hall past the tapestries that you walk through,
Yeah.
and take you to an office. They'll knock, and they'll hear enter, and then they'll open the door, and you see the priest kind of the person that or the page kind of bow and say, High Priest Scarlock, the champion, and he'll back away.
And I'll turn to the page and say, thank you.
Scarlock looks up and stands up and gives you a bow. Says, how may I provide service?
Well, I mostly wanted to make my presence known. Uh, I don't know if you know who or what I am.
Nobody does.
I have all of the knowledge I need. You are the champion. What?
Okay, so you've been made aware of that at least.
Anybody
And
who follows the Raven Queen would see.
and just as a confirmation, I'll pull out or I'll have the sword appear to my hand, but hold it,
Right? Like
allow him to take a look at it basically.
he will lean forward and look at it with reverence and awe,
And
like he's looking at a relic.
yeah, I'll flip it over to both sides so you can see that it's slightly different from what it used to be.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, this doesn't quite match up with the images of which we have.
Well, the mistress herself has made a bit of a change to the sword. Al Sharoon attempted to send a minion to prevent us from one of our duties. It did not go well for them, and the sword he created for that messenger, if you will, is now part of this sword.
She has claimed another.
Yes. And my brother happens to hold the other half of the original of this sword.
Interesting.
Though he is doing her work in the Shadowfell, so he isn't really around much at the moment. But I was wanting to check with you first, but I was wondering if it'd be okay if I brought my old master here from Thrice to begin integrating your people here with the current temple as it stands throughout the world.
We would be honored.
Very well. Do you have a teleportation circle here? Or is there one in the city?
We do indeed have a teleportation circle here.
Show me.
He will head out. He will go through another door and down a set of stairs where you will see the runes of a teleportation circle there, with one area blank for location.
Do we go
Basically,
past that tapestry again?
yeah.
I'll just give a glance to it and say, "That's a nice tapestry." Just
It is indeed. It is one of our favorites.
mine too.
But yeah, they'll take you to a room that has runes, and
Okay.
the location rune is empty, of course, so that they
Right.
could use it for connection to other teleportation
But
circles.
I'll go ahead and memorize the symbols for it real
Yep.
quick and get those.
Yeah.
And then I'll. Luckily, it's the end of the day, so I'm not too concerned. But I will go ahead and cast teleportation circle.
Very well.
Go to key or to Thrice to
To
mean.
Thrice. All right. You will show up in Thrice. You're just retrieving Irwin, or is there anything else you want to do?
I'm gonna gather. I'm going to at least go to each of the masters and let them
Okay.
know Shaji's back.
Okay.
And I'll do that on my way to Irwin.
All right. Sharing that
It'll
with
take a
them,
few
that
minutes.
they will, Meryl is the only one that's kind of like, yeah, everybody else is kind of like, well, you need to make sure you speak with Meryl. Speak with Meryl. Speak with Meryl. When you speak with Meryl, Meryl kind of looks at you and says, I assume you are going to take Irwin because somebody should go and connect with them.
Yes, that was my thought exactly.
All right.
And I know he is good at those things.
So who did Merrill lynch?
Probably you.
The bank. Well, that's true. Probably you. You got into a lot of trouble.
I don't want to get hung up on it.
So you collect Irwin. Irwin is pretty excited. He's got like a little travel bag.
So, ready to see a new old city?
I am ready as ever.
Very well. And head back and go ahead and just cast teleportation circle again.
All right. There you go.
Even though I know
Sucking
it's gonna
yourself
hurt.
through. Ugh. Go ahead and roll me your constitution.
Yeah, 17.
Not too bad. You're getting used to this teleportation thing. You only feel a little queasy. And you show up in the teleportation room of the temple in Saji. And you take him,
Yep. And
introduce him.
Yep. Master
Okay.
Irwin, this is High Priest Scarlock.
They will
the city of Shaji.
greet each other. It's funny to watch them because Scarlock is a rather tall elf, and of course, Irwin has to stand on a table to see eye to anybody. He's gnomish. He's quite short. So, but they begin to chat a little bit. You can tell that Scarlock is reverent of Irwin. You can tell that Scarlock will be reverent to those who taught the champion. Like you were a direct connection with the champion. It's that degrees of separation type thing. Almost. Um, and so they begin to chat and whatnot.
And as we're walking, I'm assuming going to walk back toward his office.
Yeah,
As,
past the tapestry again.
as we pass the tapestry,
Yeah.
I'm going to stop and say, you two go on ahead. I'm sure there's much for you to discuss. I'll be a little bit. And I'll
All
just
right.
turn and face the tapestry and
All right.
sword first walk into it.
All right. Okay. They walk on ahead and you kind of walk through the tapestry.
Do I
Quite
notice
literally.
anything from them as I do?
No, they don't seem to notice that you have stopped, because you told
Well,
them to go ahead, so they're gonna,
okay.
walk on ahead. They don't seem to have noticed. And now when you get back, they might ask you where you went, but or Erwin will. Scarlock probably won't for fear, but Erwin probably will. But no, you don't notice them. So you step through the tapestry and you enter into that room. So think on those questions. I'm going to go back
Yeah.
to Evangeline. She's had plenty of time to think 3 questions. So you are communing in the Temple of Denier with your book out. You feel the kind of the wind and the smell of fresh parchment and ink. It's a very comforting feeling.
Okay. Now that Saji has returned, and the protection over the land is connected, is it the desire of you and the other gods to return as a guide and an aid for the people?
You will see kind of on the page, you will see the words shimmer forward. We have already begun.
Moving forward, do I lead the order of truth to follow you as their God?
You don't get response for that.
I will ask, is it acceptable to the gods, all the gods, that the order of truth lead in truth, no matter what god the individual serves?
You get a yes. However, there's a slight hesitation in there. And you get the feeling that it has to do with probably other gods such as the god of lies, the god of tricksters, the god of they ain't gonna deal in truth. Are you kidding me?
We'll clarify the good gods, the truthful gods.
Yeah, but you get the sense that a majority of the gods would be totally down with this. It's like whatever, sure. Truth reigns supreme. And with that, all of the commune dies down, the breeze kind of stops, and everything kind of returns back to normal. And you have your book in front of you. Fix. You are
Yes.
hammering away. You are essentially just kind of following whatever kind of guidance you're being given. You are able to take pieces of your armor and intermix some of the adamantine in with the symbol of Gond. Do you have any questions you wish you feel you have Gond's ear? You can ask him 3 questions if you so choose.
Having never been an extraordinarily devout cleric, meta one dip in it. And yet you have bestowed upon me gift of not only artifact, but more importantly, knowledge. What does this make me? To you.
You will hear almost in a chant-like voice as you are familiar chanting Gond's song while you forge. You know, you kind of hear that chant-like voice. And he says, "You are chosen."
Okay. Is Valsharun defeated? Or no?
You are going to get, again, that chant-like voice. He's going to say, he is angrier than ever.
Smirk and say good. We will find Valsharun. The question I have now: who corrupted and perverted your masterpiece?
Mhm.
And there's a definite bit of seething rage coming through with that.
You will again get that chant-like voice. Velsharoon has his hands in much.
Then we will be sure to chop off those hands.
Turn him into Vecna. Just kidding.
We got the hands, we got the
Okay,
feet, the
remember to get the eye.
kneecaps.
Don't forget
We
the
got
eye.
the kneecaps, the
The
eye,
eye.
the nose, the earlobe.
Let's take both eyes instead of just one of them. You know.
Let's just take them both. Um, oh dear me. Okay, so with that, you kind of hammer in a little bit of that adamantine obtanium mixture into the symbol of Gon, and you know the fires of the forge calm a little bit. The heat kind of releases a little bit. It's not quite as hot as it was. You definitely sense that Gon has now pulled back. He's answered some of your questions and has left you to attend to whatever you choose to do.
I will continue forging for a
Flounder
while
on
more.
your own, right?
All right. You
No,
continue.
you guys are all with me too, so
Yeah.
we flounder
Not
together.
me.
We flounder together. All right. And so you continue to forge for a while until it's time to go to sleep, basically.
Yep.
All right. Forsyth, you spend some time down there in the Thieves Guild. Do you just kind of spend the rest of the evening, or do you go off and gallivant to do something?
Since there is a lot for them to learn and a lot for me to learn from them, changes over the years, learning what was old versus what's new,
Mhm.
I will spend the entire evening there.
Okay. All right. As the evening wanes, you all kind of dissipate, and you eventually make your way to the inn where there are rooms available for you. When you walk in, the innkeeper that's standing there or is there uh, offers you food, offers you drink. Um, doesn't even ask who you are because obviously you're the new faces in town. Um, the, the only new faces they've seen in a very long time.
Somebody
And
came in and actually wanted a room.
I know, right? Woo-hoo!
It's
And so
amazing.
it's amazing. And so you are waited on hand and foot. They'll draw up baths. They'll make sure that all accommodations are accounted for, and you get a long rest.
Yay!
And there was much rejoicing.
Long rest
Yay!
confirmed.
Long rest confirmed.
For you guys.
Oh yeah, Kadeth.
For me.
Sorry. Before you go and get your long rest, thank you for saying, "Hey, what about me?" Before
I'm just sitting in the bloodbath.
just sitting in the bloodbath, just hanging out.
Are you
you
there?
you enter into the blood pool. You submerge yourself into the blood pool, and again, until you get to the point where it's like, okay, I have got to breathe, or I'm going to die, and everything you kind of push through that area, and you feel the air, and you take a breath. It's cold, but you do see in the distance a dark figure that you will recognize as the Raven Queen.
Okay. I'll approach. Hello, mistress. With Shaji's return and Valsharoon's messenger or champion, I'm guessing, defeated, is there anything else that we should take care of before we confront him?
She will respond to you. He grows angry. He is ready to strike. I believe you know all that you will need to know.
That's good. What is the feeling among the other gods at this time?
I sense they are nervous, excited that Shaji is back. Shaji was a central area for the gods. However, Velsharoon has destroyed it once, or removed it once. It is possible for him to do so again.
He can try. Let's see. The last one. Why do you hide your name, and how many others know it other than myself and Fix?
I can hear her thinking, that fucking fix.
Busybody.
um, she will share with you that part of her taking over the stature was to remove the name. None should know my name. That you know it is okay. That another knows it Be wary it is not shared.
I trust him. I don't think even Gond will learn it from him. Even though he serves him? Question mark.
I mean, he's a part-time cleric.
His champion? Question mark. Champion because there was no other options. You're the best I got. Well,
You're the best I
you'll have to do.
Do you ever get the feeling that Forsyth should have been a rogue and that Fix should have been an artificer?
Proper use of a good background and a good storyline
Yep.
creates that multiple aspected character
Yep.
who still can achieve level 20 in their own field.
Yep.
All right, and I mean, if she has anything else for me, I'll wait. But otherwise,
She'll linger for a little while, and then pass on.
okay, I'll head back.
You pull yourself up out of the blood pool and take a deep breath.
All right, go and clean myself off, get dressed again, head
Step.
back out, and go toward the office.
All right. When you arrive at the office, Erwin will look up and kind of give you a look.
How long have I been gone?
Uh,
I'm asking Erwin.
couple of hours.
Oh, okay, yeah, pretty normal.
You missed some blood there on your boot. Oh.
Yeah. Got a little blood in your beard.
There's a nice tapestry in the hallway.
Very well. Scarlock will kind of look at you, and it is a nice tapestry.
And in some ways, kind of sure beats the room in Thrice.
Erwin says, "Hey, we made do with what we had."
True. I have a feeling, though, others may be interested in that tapestry.
Only those Scarlock will respond. Only those of whom gains her favor can
Oh,
enter the
yes.
tapestry.
Absolutely. Although I'm sure we have a few masters who may be interested in at least studying it briefly.
They are welcome to.
I'm sure Tatra will have something to say about it. And I'm sure none of us
Nobody
will understand it.
what she wants to say.
Probably. It'll be clear as mud.
I'll give Erwin a knowing glance on that one.
he will smirk.
And I'll excuse myself and head to wherever it is I'm staying for the night.
All right. The inn down the road, you will meet up with the rest of your compatriots. Forsyth will eventually join you as the evening comes to a close, and you guys will get a long rest. So go ahead and mark that long rest.
Yay.
When even rogues go to sleep.
Yes. You have traveled long and hard, and you do feel the sense that the shield is active in place. The shields are active. You get that long rest. In the morning, you wake up. Breakfast is ready. You eat some breakfast. Discuss what your next plans are. And if you're not sure, I will give you the hint cards. Hint, hint.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention that anyways. So,
Don't look at me.
Let's take a look. Let's lay them all out. Because I also remember there's that whole thing with the backside.
With the back of them. Just take a look at the
Let's look at the front sides first.
The front sides first.
Because we only have 2 that were unfinished.
As you pull out the cards and you begin to lay them out, the front sides, all of them are complete except for the rune card.
So the comet is done.
Comment is done.
Card is complete.
And the ruin card is like, is it almost complete kind of thing? Like 99% kind of?
Yeah, for the most part, it's like, 90% complete. But there's this huge tree in the way, apparently, at this point.
Not sure what this tree is.
Oh no,
However,
sounds like we need an axe. We've got a hand axe. I wonder if that'll work.
Oh,
I got a giant axe.
I mean,
or
a hand
giant
axe
hand.
for me would be like a giant axe for a dwarf, for a halfling. So
How huge are we talking? Like colossal?
Compared to Cadeth's size, it is. Let me pull it up. It is. The next size up from huge. Is that colossal? That's not colossal.
Colossal.
That's
Massive.
colossal.
I think it's
Okay.
colossal.
maybe.
Giant.
So it's very, very, very big.
Very, very, very big. Very big. Seems to be growing a little bit.
Yeah, it could make things interesting, whatever that tree is.
Well, you are the historian amongst us, and as well as the religious scholar, so
Is there anything I can think of that might relate?
It has a slight green glow to it. And if you recall, Ordeeth told you about the corruption,
Uh-huh.
and the corruption did affect some statues in the Feywild, brought them to life. Green glow is almost always that corruption. So probably has something to do with a corruption.
Wonder if we have any way of detecting the corruption at a distance.
we might have different ways to fix corruption.
Right, but I'm thinking, how do we find it?
well,
Detect thoughts is kind of lame, I think, in this case.
I'm going to stand up and I'm going to go to the library.
Well, before we do that, look at the
Flip
back.
the cards
Let's look at
over.
the back of the cards.
Oh, okay.
All right, you flip the cards over. You do see that there are, oddly enough, as you're looking at it, you see as you're putting these cards together, there are. Oh no, you completed that one. Oh my gosh, there's a couple in here that you did not complete, but are completed.
Huh?
Excuse me.
Okay, there. You've
Oh,
had help.
There's a couple we never found, but they got completed.
But as you flip them over, as you're looking at them, you see 3 holes on the back side.
Okay.
There are only 3 that are missing. As you're kind of looking at this, I don't remember how many you have, but there are only 3 that are missing when you flip them over. Do you have the gem? That might be the one I'm thinking of.
We have 15 of them, and one of them is
15.
not the gem.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You have the ruin and the void. Okay.
Yeah.
So the gem. When you flip these over, one of the holes, there's actually 4 holes, but one of the holes begins to fill in with a picture.
Even though there is no card there?
Even though there's no card there, because the gem got completed
They're
for you.
magic. Oh.
It's magic. And so there are only 3 actual holes in this picture. As you're looking at this picture, it is definitely a purple-hued forest. And as you are, it just kind of has just a purple vibe to it. And as you're looking at it, you do see kind of a small speck in there that has kind of a green glow. Roll me, anybody who wants to try to figure out where this is at, roll me
Yep.
a history.
Is it the Osran Woods? I didn't roll I
11?
didn't roll max, but I got a 30.
But you got a 30?
I didn't roll max either, and I got a 29.
Holy crap.
I have a plus 14, okay?
Oh my word. Okay.
Nada.
I know
Plus
my
nada.
history.
You know your history. Let me find it.
The
quickly.
lowest I can roll is a 15.
Not there.
I know
not
a lot
there.
of things.
I did not put a thing in my book. Aha. All right. You do indeed recall. And Evangeline, you're going, yeah, I recall that too. I read that in such and such book. So the two of you
And I
are
read it
kind
in
of
this
like
book.
bouncing back and forth a little bit. It is indeed, looks like the Osran Woods.
Hey,
It,
what do you know? It looks purple on the map.
you recall reading a journal. Both of you remember parts of this. Kadeth, you remember the journal. Evangeline, you remember reading about his name was Tamales Crossed.
Was what?
Tamales Crossed. And you remember him having disappeared among the Austrian woods for a time, and when he came back out, he was never quite the same. And you recall reading his journal. One of the entries of his journals did indeed say the woods really are the queer purple color that I was told. The trees don't look particularly strange in any other way, but the leaves and even the bark range from a bluish red to a deep violet. The branches are alive with birds of all kinds and colors. I almost expected them to be purple as well, but none are.
Hmm. Well, the Austin Woods are not too far from the Orgarek. I have a feeling we need to go there and at least start cleansing whatever is going on there. Perhaps there's more than meets the eye, more than just
More than meets the eye.
more than just some kind of
Transformers.
whatever was going on with the Feywild. More than just that. I almost wonder if there is a link to the Shadowfell there.
Perhaps. You said we see a green figure, right?
You see a green glow in this
Yeah,
picture.
green
You
glow.
can't really make out a figure, but there is definitely a green glow in there.
Well, how do we wish to get there?
I'm sure. Well, can we? Because was the Orgarek one of the
Yeah.
orreries?
It was indeed. It was the orrery with
Oh.
the ancient dragon bones and the things that look like tombstones that are now sprouting.
How about we go to get to the Orgarek through the orreries?
Okay.
Is there anything we
Sure.
need to do before we go, though? I have a sneaky suspicion that we won't be visiting any other cities until this is all finished.
Well, unless we wish to delay for a week, I have nothing that needs done now.
Not a week, but if there's anything you would like to do in the next hour or so, any messages you want to send or people you want to contact, I think now is the time to do it. I think I would
I
like to at
refuse.
least let Erwin know where we're headed.
I see no problem with that, but I refuse to say goodbye.
Oh, I'm not saying goodbye. I'm just going to let him know, hey, we're heading here, and it's probably going to be, if not the end of this set of very, very long set of quests, at least leading toward it.
Hmm.
More of a see you later, not goodbye. I'll see you when it's done.
It is the beginning of the end.
Yeah. Basically. The end of the beginning was a long time ago.
Yes.
So
So
I'll
meet
go
back
and
here in
what?
an hour, 2 hours. What do you feel is appropriate?
Meet at the Orrery in an hour.
Orrery's in the library.
Oh, it's in the library. Okay, then yeah, meet back here in an hour. Or in the library, I guess.
Meet in the library in an hour. All right.
And I will head to the temple.
All right. You just letting Erwin know where you're going, or is there something else you wanted to do?
No, I'm gonna let him know where I'm going, and um yeah, just kind of let him know where we're going and what. I haven't really given him much of an update lately, so I'll give him a quick,
Okay. A brief
10-minute update on what's been happening the past couple weeks.
All right. All right. I'll take that in. Well, thank you for the update. In that hour, anything else anybody else is going to do?
I
I'm
will
going
check.
to.
No.
I will check in with Severus.
Okay. It takes you a little while to find the Temple of Severus. The Temple of Severus almost looks like a little hut.
I'll take it. I'll go in and I'll pull my orb out.
Okay. The people there are. Oh, you are a follower of Severus. Welcome.
You could say that.
You can say that. Thanks.
Personal friend.
Eh,
Close enough.
follows a strong word.
He asked for our help.
I talk to him
Personally.
every once in a while.
That's a little bit of a strong word. I
We
can
stop
agree.
in and say hi here and there.
Right?
Sometimes go visit some of his friends.
What can we do for you?
I will sit down and I'll pull the orb and I
Okay.
will concentrate on Severus
Okay.
with one single question.
Okay.
Why me?
The future is uncertain.
Ask again tomorrow.
According to fate, is it time?
No time like the present.
Look, we're
According
getting
to
ready to go
fixed,
fight
it
a
is
big
overdue.
bad evil god. Not one of the fates on my side.
Hey, he's only a demigod. It's okay.
Well, sorry, Evangeline. They're all off partying with Browning right now.
Yeah. Sorry. Yep, the fates are a little busy.
And the last time he went down, it took an army of undead and a up and coming demigod.
Up and coming, God. No time like the present. You get a strong affirmation that now or never kind of thing. Like,
Do or do. Oh,
yeah, do or do not. There is no try.
I'll be fine with that. And then I'll take the orb and I'll concentrate on Gavian.
Oh, you get a sense on Gavian. Um, Gavian, as you kind of watch, Gavian appears to, as you're watching, you see Gavian land with a white drake, land and hop off the drake. You kind of see the drake kind of take off, and he walks into Key. You kind of are following him into Key. I don't know how long you want to follow him.
Well, I got an hour. Oh.
Okay. All right, you watch him for a little while. He seems to go by the home first, and then after a bit of time, he kind of checks in with the Jennifers and whatnot, and then leaves again. And you see him head down to the lower level, kind of toward Giselle's, and yeah, and then I was trying to remember what's her name, Giselle. I don't even know now. And down in where Giselle's is, although he doesn't go to Giselle's, he heads over to what looks like a makeshift almost hospital. There's a lot of people there, people coming in and out of there. You can tell that the mass chaos has died down, but obviously they're still triaging, they're still taking care of people, they're still, there's still lots of things to be done. And he walks in and he goes through a curtain and you see him kind of walk up. There are two beds side by side. You see in those beds, one is Gidna and one is Vineth. They appear to be alive. You would imagine so anyway, otherwise they wouldn't still be here, but neither one of them seem to be awake, conscious. Both of them are bandaged pretty heavily. And you see him just kind of go in and sit down for a little bit. I mean, you see him converse a little bit with a couple of people that kind of come in and whatnot. He seems to, just checking on them, things like that. And he pulls up a chair and he sits down. He just seems to be sitting there.
I will pull my stone.
it's gonna be a creeper and be like, "I see you."
I see you.
I will pull my stone.
What are you doing with that girl?
And I will say, I see that you are with Gidna and Vineth. You should relay to them your brother's love. And then I'll say, are they well?
Oh, now
Are
you
they-
ask. Okay.
Are they? How are they?
Yeah. He will respond. He'll kind of. He will respond. You are full of mystery. I will do as you ask. They are stable.
And then I will go and find Fix.
All right. In that hour, what are you doing, Fix?
Heading to the library.
Okay. Just gonna get some more read time in, or are you?
No, I'm gonna go ask for if they have any scrolls, specifically one of sending.
Oh.
He doesn't want to
Jimothy.
be connected
Timothy will show up and say, yes, we do. You wish to use it?
Yes, please.
And it will disappear and then pop back up. They have a scroll in hand and they hand it forward.
I will take it. And I will send a message to my mother. We're about to. I suspect we're about to go toe to toe with Balsharoon. If I don't return, know that my love is with you and the family. And at that same moment, he will send essentially the same feelings of that message to the entirety of the family.
All right.
And I don't know if the three of if Evangeline, Kadath, and Forsyth would receive that, but he's sort of just putting it out on blast.
They will receive it then. It's like, oh.
Because he's not sure how connected they have become.
Love you too,
I
Fix.
mean, we're basically family at this point.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Yeah.
You get a little bolster of confidence and warmth. All right. She will respond back to you. Be safe.
As safe as you can be fighting in God.
I know. Right. Don't be rash or stupid. That's what she means by don't be safe or be safe. Don't be rash or stupid.
Right.
Fix never.
Never. She'll say, our love is with you too.
She's a mom. She's telling you, do as I say, not as I do.
Not as I do.
And then after that is done, he will actually connect with Zybella and spend the remainder of the hour just conversing with her. Both.
All right. A little bit of sweet nothings.
Yep.
All right. Forsyth, in that hour, is there anything in particular you wish to do?
I'm going to actually take it to the air
Okay.
as a giant eagle
All right.
and see if anyone has reacted to the return of Saji.
All right. You take to the air. You realize that the shell that was around Saji is now all the way down. It's on the ground. You can see kind of layers of some metal along the ground where it was. And as you take a flyabout, you don't notice any activity coming towards Saji as of yet. It has only been here
Okay.
for about 24 hours. So
Right.
they have
But
yet
sometimes
to really
it doesn't take that long.
yeah, they have yet to really realize there's no real close town. So it would have to take a traveler kind of walking by to go, that wasn't here last week. Like, what the heck? Kind of.
Okay.
So they're not extremely close to any other town.
Yeah,
But
I'm just
so there's
taking a
nothing
quick
that's coming
gander.
in quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no rush of army or anything like that. It seems to be pretty quiet right now. I'd give it another couple
Okay.
days. It might be
Right.
a little more noisy. All right. You fly in, and the rest of you get to the library. You meet up. You go to the orrery. Kashano is there, just kind of tweaking some things, making sure things are working. He says, "Welcome, welcome."
Thank you. I'll walk over to the orrery and I'll find the keyhole and activate it.
All right, you put in the rod. Kashano kind of stiffens up and kind of watches and is like, "I've never seen this before." You turn it, and a portal opens, and you see, because you want to go to the Orgarek, you see the inside of the Orgarek. Can I even kind of see the tail end of some of them dragon bones? And Kashano is kind of speechless. He's just kind of watching, look at you, look at the orrery, look at the rod, look at like, what the heck? I didn't know this could do this. Y'all go through?
Yeah, and I'll nod to him as we walk through.
All right. You take out the
Been
rod,
worse
everybody,
places.
and you go through, and he just kind of is watching as you go through, and the portal closes. You don't know what he does after that. You're at the Orgarek.
You got 4 essentially demigods walking out of like.
All right. Okay.
We're just champions. We're not quite
eh,
demigods yet.
Not yet.
Right, we put demigods in the ground.
Well, once we've done that a couple times, then
All right. So you head out of the Orgarek and you head toward the Osserin Woods.
Yep.
All right. You begin to head toward the Osserin Woods, and before you know it, you're walking toward the Osserin Woods, conversing, talking about the weather, whatever. The next step, you're in an arena.
Oh
Dun, dun, dun.
man!
Dun, dun, dun. And that's where we're gonna end
And
tonight.
they return from whence they originally came.
Yep.
Finally get to do a check-in with them. Man, we've done all this work and they're finally checking in on us.
Oh, we thought you'd die by now. No, plenty of gods have been watching you. Obviously, you're conversing with them.
Yeah, but we got a few we haven't heard from since this whole thing started. Especially the one who
Ayo.
talked the whole time in the beginning.
Ayo.
Yep.
Yep.
Hey-o.
Ayo.
Hey-o. Daylight come and we won't go home.
Yeah.
You said it.
You want to go home now? All right. So that's where we're going to end tonight. You guys popped into the arena. You recognize it definitely as the arena that you were in at the very beginning of the stinking thing. And that's where we're going to end. So, all right.
Looking
For those
forward.
of you, yeah, we stayed on a little longer. I wanted you to get to the arena before we ended tonight. And so that is where we're at. Thank you for sticking with us. If you're still with us, be sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications so you know when we're live next time, and like and share this video and leave a comment, because those are the things that's going to get it out to more people. So be sure to do that. Share with your friends and make some comments, please. Let us know where you're watching from. Where did you find out about us? Let us know. You can also check out our website, dndeadjokes.com. That's where you're going to find like all of the town criers from all of the things that we've done before in this campaign. Also updates for when the new campaign might start and things like that. So keep an eye. That is constantly changing at this point. So keep an eye on that website. Also in our upcoming events tab, you can find the link to Chicago Steampunk Expo, where you can get tickets, find out hotel information, location information, program information, all of that stuff. We will be there for the whole weekend. Come say hi. I don't think I'm missing anything. We also have other social media. You can check those links in this description of this video or on our website. We're not nearly as active on those as we are here, but you are welcome to join us, follow us, and go from there. I think that's it. Am I done?
Poke her with a fork. I think she's done.
All right, I'll poke it with a fork. So
Until
yeah,
next week.
until next week. We'll see you next week.